to give a few minutes to people like coming in. Ashton,
be famous, more like infamous, if anything. Oh my. Oh, I'm infamous on both sides. That's like the best feeling in the world, that I've had the ability to piss off and aggravate and agitate all these different people. I'm just a wild card.
Yeah. And which makes it a lot more interesting that you're back. It's been
and agitate all these different people. I'm just a...
Oops, did you hear that?
I did. I heard myself talk. Is that how I sound? Is my voice? Oh my.
It's great. It's it's almost like to listen to the sound of your own voice.
It's yeah, it's really great.
So if you're watching, if you're here from YouTube, I'm actually about to update the YouTube description to include Ashton's channel.
Which has no videos, so apologize for that. There will be videos coming up tomorrow, though. People have been asking me for like months now, where are the videos, when are you coming back? There will officially be at least one video tomorrow, sort of explaining my opinions on the whole election, I guess, voting system and how it's rigged, so be tuned for that. There are no videos on my channel right now, though, just because I needed a break, I guess, from the world for a bit. But I'm not dead, so that's a good sign. A lot of people, for some reason, thought I was dead. Which, you know, I'm not. Hi, guys. I'm alive.
That's awesome. That's good news. Because we, you know, it gets boring sometimes under these lockdowns. So we need like entertainment and stuff.
Oh, you know, I'm entertaining all day, every day. Depends on which context.
So what made you like decide to take a break?
I feel like it's pretty obvious for anyone who's ever followed me or like watched me sort of drastically fall apart in a sense. I was having meltdowns. If you guys didn't remember, I mean, I don't know how you can forget those meltdowns, like 1, 2, 3, 5. I don't know. I had quite a bit, but I feel like I really need a mental health break to sort of figure myself out, what I was doing with myself, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Get back involved in the church, you know, just understand myself as a person, because I feel like when you spend a lot of time on the internet and surround yourself with a lot of people who are also consumed by the internet, you aren't going to really know yourself as a person wholly. And I needed to do that. So I did a lot of things. I got involved, especially during coronavirus, during the whole lockdown situation. I think it definitely gave me the ability to get some new skills. I got involved with welding, carpentry. I adopted a baby goat, which was pretty cool. Yeah, I got involved with a lot of different stuff, and I definitely got more involved with the church, which helped. I really needed to focus on myself for a bit. And on top of that, I really wanted to ask myself what I wanted to do if I did come back. I honestly didn't really think I'd come back for a long time. And when I sort of just really cleared my head and kind of figured out what I wanted to talk about, what was true to me and like what I personally believe, that's when I would come back. And then and sort of observing everything going on in 2020, whether it be the riots or the COVID or, you know, this election situation, definitely gave me the ability to be like, whoa, okay, how am I viewing this without any influences, left or right? How am I going to just view this? Because when you are sort of start viewing political beliefs as like a way to like get clicks online, that's what really started watering down my own opinions. And that's what started, like, no, it wasn't intentional, but I was definitely watering down my own opinions, because in a way I was sort of like looking what other people were thinking and whatnot. But by taking a break, I'm sorry?
You're catering to your viewers.
Yeah, exactly. And the majority of us really just do this unintentionally. We don't realize we're doing it. So when I was taking a break, I was able to view everything that I was seeing from a very different perspective, from a much more clear perspective, my own perspective, if you will, and sort of be like, okay, well, maybe Trump should have done this, or maybe we should go along things like this. Well, what about this? What about this? And it definitely gave me a whole new viewpoint on things, a much better viewpoint, I think. And so that's why when I come back, I don't want to give people the sort of old way of doing things, because I feel like in a weird way, I kind of create a monster, like this talking point. Me and you were talking about this sort of talking point monster, where I don't want to give the same opinions as every other female on the internet. You know, I sort of just want to, you know, sort of touch base on what I personally believe and sort of a different perspective on a lot of different things. So, you know, this past year, I had the ability to talk to a lot of old friends of mine You know, being from California, most of my old friends growing up were either Democrat or, you know, communist, socialist. I have some friends who are even identify as fascist. I have friends all across the political spectrum, left and right, who I think really sort of gave me their own personal opinions, which allowed me to filter out what I personally think. And it sort of made me realize that no one is actually left or right, and that we are all very complicated human beings with very complicated belief systems, which made me dive further into my understanding of the two-party system, which, of course, I have always believed the two-party system is absolute BS. So I really, when I do come back, it's not going to be the typical Trump talking points, MAGA, put on the red hat, because I definitely just want to just step into a broader idea. I want to be able to take away the black and white thinking and sort of bring people together to start really understanding how we can actually fix the problem, instead of just, hey, here's a pamphlet. Hey, let's vote this. Hey, let's walk in the middle of the street. Because the truth is, what we're doing isn't clearly doing anything. I hate to say this, but I'm beginning to realize the current system, I'm not beginning to realize, everybody knows the current system freaking sucks. Everybody agrees across the spectrum, whether you're far left, far right, in between, whatever. And I just don't think this whole protest, hand out a pamphlet, talking to a megaphone thing is working anymore. I think we need to stop thinking left versus right. I think we need to start really, really working together, even with those we may not agree with, on actually breaking down the system. And
so that's you mentioned the megaphone I remember how you started a couple years ago. That's how you went viral. Like you were kind of like doing more of the grassroots thing. So now I'm sure it's also because of the lockdowns and everything, it's probably also like impossible to do it the way that it was done a couple years ago. So
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I definitely think it does need to get more grassroots, for sure. I definitely think the marches and the rallies do help. The problem is, if we keep thinking left versus right, we're actually not going to get anything done. In fact, I would actually like a lot of people to start thinking more of left versus right, and more so, how is this system affecting everyone, both left and right? And how can we work together to sort of dismantle the system and actually make it work for everyone?
Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah.
So are you going to be back on Twitter also?
Well, I'm actually booted from Twitter. I am booted from Twitter. That's actually a funny story.
Why?
I don't fully understand how that whole situation happened. I just can't get back on Twitter anymore. I don't necessarily know I don't understand the full situation. So what happened was, I needed a break from Twitter and I left. And within 2 days, I got an email from Twitter basically saying that I was suspended, that I was done. So it was kind of like, you can't quit, we fire you kind of situation. So yeah, I guess I'm booted from Twitter.
That's so frustrating.
But yeah, I mean, like, honestly, I'm actually kind of glad I no longer have a Twitter. And that's the funny thing too, was when I was consumed by the internet, it was, I don't know how to explain it, but I remember thinking to myself, and this is it sounds so crazy looking back at it, how psychotic I was, right? If I lose my Twitter, I lose my entire livelihood kind of thing. And I know that is the case for a lot of people, but I remember thinking to myself when I was going through that, when I finally did lose my Twitter, I was kind of like, thank God this happened to me. And I feel like that was just my wake-up call to sort of just like focus on myself for a bit and figure things out on my own. Because Twitter was a waste of time. It was toxic. It really wasn't doing much at that point for conservatives anymore. It was sort of just a look at me kind of situation. And not to mention is that Twitter, I feel like, keeps a lot of people from actually thinking outside the box from a lot of things. I feel like when you're sort of in the public sphere, we sort of lean towards our friends who are also in that sphere and see what they're thinking before we can actually really make a stance on something. So not only was it keeping me from thinking outside the box, thinking on my own, it was distracting me, wasting my time, giving me anxiety. My mental health was a wreck when I was on Twitter. So, I mean, you know, I'm glad it's gone, honestly.
Not to mention there's people who, like, I notice with a lot of young women, it's like this. People assume that because you're getting a lot of like traction online, you're like on a high horse, and their instinct is to try and pull you down, and they don't realize that you're like a person, and you're not necessarily like floating on a cloud. You might be struggling with a million different things and dealing with so much, and they're like, it's like they're trying to pull you down as if you are just like breezing along. And they do it to like a lot of young women, I feel like, for just like unthinkingly.
Well, it's not women. Men get it too. I mean, men get it just as bad as women on Twitter, I think. I think there's definitely, well, yeah, for sure. I mean, sure, women get the whole e-girl thing thrown at them and the no eggs thing thrown at them. I mean, like, it's not really as, I feel like if you're a guy, honestly, I don't think it's more so of a female versus male thing. I think it's more so if you dare question something that isn't in your group's way of thinking. You know what I'm saying? I think it's a matter of if you dare say something that the rest of the people in your group may not agree with. And I feel like it's really ironic to me, because I feel like when this whole thing started, it was like, we don't care what your opinions are. We just believe you have the right to say them, right? We're open-minded. We're open to open conversation of different opinions. But I feel like when things got deeper and deeper into the Trump world, if you dare criticize Israel, if you dare mention the environment, if you dare mention the wars in the Middle East, you're bad, you're a Nazi, you're a commie, you're not doing what we want you to do, out. I mean, that was definitely something I feel like was a huge issue for a long time. And especially after Charlottesville, I mean, people were just being dropped left and right if you dare say the wrong thing. And it wouldn't even be like, fascist. It would just be basically, like, I don't like the idea that we're in the middle of the war. Why are we giving so much foreign aid to this country? Like, things like that. If you dare question one thing that the president's doing, you're not a true patriot or something like that. And that's what bothers me. If you vote for like, for example, just for Trump, right? If you vote for someone in office, it is your American duty to question them and to criticize the things that they're not doing that you want them to. If a politician, there's this idea where, like, is this what my issue is? This is the video that I'm doing for tomorrow, is that we've been doing this for 100 years now, right? Since the Federal Reserve was established in 1913, this has been going on. We walk into a voting booth every 2 and 4 years, right? And we vote between the guy who has a D next to his name and the guy who has a R next to his name. It's like, do you want the corporate paid warmonger or the corporate paid warmonger with the red tie? And at the end of the day, it's like, well, this person's making these promises. This person's making these promises. But at the end of the day, all of these promises are going to be broken and they're not held accountable. And if anything, they're going to be paid to break those promises by corporations. And it's just like, why do we continue to play the same system over and over again?
And it's not just any corporation. It's usually like just a small group of corporations that are, so it's not even like capitalism. It's not even like a free market thing. It's like cronies, like a small group that kind of just, here, let's place as many regulations. Sorry for making this off track, but like, it's like, let's place as many regulations as possible to screw other smaller corporations.
Yeah, the fact that, like, for example, Dan Crenshaw, the fact that Turning Point USA still has him at their events, despite the fact he even considered red flag laws, is insane to me. I mean, it's Turning Point USA, so of course they're going to push whatever Republican they can get as long as they have R next to their name. I mean, it's just, it's something I really need to think about for the past year. I mean, it's like I've been thinking about for a while now, but at least the break during the year gave me time to really think about it. And I just feel like, we've entered this situation, especially now. It's like, I feel like people were definitely questioning Trump for the past year, especially during the riots, especially during COVID. But now that he's lost, people have suddenly forgotten all of the different things that he has done wrong to piss us off and not do right. They're like, okay, now's the time to rally for Trump now because we can't have Joe Biden. At the end of the day, I truly feel like no matter whether it's Biden or Trump, we're going to get the same thing. Because at the end of the day, I personally believe I'm at the point now where I don't think the president actually does make any decisions. I think the president is just a figurehead. I think there is something much darker and much deeper going on in the background controlling everything. I really do. And whether people think Trump is our guy to break the system, this is what I think needs to be done. In his last few months of office, this is what Trump needs to do. I don't think Trump's watching this right now. Maybe he is. We don't know. But if Trump is out there and he somehow hears this, Trump, buddy, okay? If you got few months left in the Oval Office and Joe Biden's going to take that seat, this is what you need to do. You need to open up the JFK files. You need to expose what happened on 9/11. You need to bring our troops home. Stop giving foreign aid to a bunch of countries that we really shouldn't be giving foreign aid to. You need to expose the alien stuff, which Tucker Carlson's already doing for you on Fox News. And most importantly, free Julian Assange and Snowden. What are you doing? Like, I mean, honestly, watch Biden become president and try to denounce all those things. Trump needs to get those done in his last few months of office. And I want Biden to try to denounce those things, because everyone, both left and right, wants those things. Everyone across the political spectrum, everyone I ask of my friends who claim to be communist, socialist, fascist, Republican, Democrat, they all want to see Assange freed. They all want to see Snowden freed. They all want to see the end of the war in the Middle East. They all want these things. So why can't we get these things done? If Trump is about to be kicked out of office, he needs to get those things done and watch Biden denounce them. Because once Biden starts denouncing the things because the left is already ready to fight against Biden. My friends who are leftists are ready to sit there at the White House and fight against Biden. I really think that instead of focusing on replacing Biden with Trump, we need to focus in 2021 on completely destroying the system that is putting us all in this horrible situation. 1 second.
I got Tom. I just thought it was funny.
Oh my gosh, Tom! Wait, no, that's a lie. Wait. Tom Sauer just messaged, Ashton, you promised me you were quitting politics. Tom Sauer, I believe I messaged you like 2 months ago that I was coming back to YouTube. Hold on. Sir. Sir. Dad coming to attack me online.
So Tom,
rude.
So
by the way, shout out to Tom Sauer. I was actually going to bring this up, but if you guys want to understand what I'm talking about, read The Creature on Jekyll Island. It's a book Tom actually got me into. Trust me, you'll thank me later. Thank you, Tom Sauer.
So wait, what's it called? What on Jekyll Island?
The Creature on Jekyll Island. Have you not read it? Oh my gosh, everything you need to know about the Federal Reserve. That book is amazing. Trust me on this one. I promise you. You'll thank me later.
Yeah,
shout out to our friend Tom.
I was looking for another book to read because I'm out here in Texas and we don't have a lot of friends here yet. So did you get to what did you get to do in between this time? Like you left politics. I feel like I hear there's an echo. So you left politics like a year ago, and so now you're coming back tomorrow, and you're going to talk about these things. That you're going to talk about Trump. You're going to talk about what's going on with Biden. And in your first video, like what? So
it's basically about why I think the voting system, our current voting system, is BS. Like why this whole the election was rigged. Every election for the past 100 years has been rigged. This is all a plot. Everything you are witnessing in American history and American politics is pre-planned. It's pre-positioned, okay? We don't have a choice. Your vote, I'm going to tell people this right now, and Boomer's going to hate me for saying this, but your vote does not matter. Your vote doesn't matter. We are all being controlled. We are all slaves to an entire system that's been pre-plotted for 100 years. So instead of focusing on trying to pick the certain politicians to work that system, why not actually take the system and crush it?
That's true. Okay. Oh, okay. Natalie says, definitely prefer it here than on Tim and Will's live stream. Okay, first of all, thanks for joining. This is so awesome that you're joining. Also, so Tim and by the way, I love Natalie. I met Natalie through Tom, actually.
Is that redhead Natalie?
Yep. Redhead Natalie.
Oh, she bought me candy once.
Oh, yes. I fell in love with Natalie right when I met her, she was so funny. And so okay, so I'll go back to that. But also, apparently Tim and Will are having a live stream tonight. So in case you guys don't know, Tim Poole and Will Chamberlain are having a live stream tonight.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I didn't do this live stream.
So Tim does a live stream every night, like weekdays at like 8 p.m. And I only watch them when Luke goes on because I really, that's all I really care about.
That's so funny. Yeah, so Luke goes on Tim's live streams too.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of those in a while.
They talked about like aliens and religion last night. It was actually really interesting. It was actually, they went from like aliens to religion to shrooms.
Oh, interesting. I really want to try shrooms. So who would you say, like, in this time that you've been in this like conservative media sphere and you've met people like Will, Tim, Tom, Natalie, you met like
I've met everyone.
Yeah.
I love most of them.
So what kind of relationships? And then I've also seen like there's there were a lot of like crazy people that you met, or people that you or not even crazy, but just that you feel like I don't know, like just didn't have your best interest in mind. Like what would
I definitely think there's a lot of there's a lot of pandering in the political world online. And funny enough, it's not the off color people, right? It's not the people who went from being socialists to Trump supporters. It's not the anarchists. It's not the ones who like think out. It's the ones who are so strictly GOP that it's almost terrifying. It's it's a little weird. It's how loyal they are to the party. Party loyalists, I think, are the worst people and the people you cannot trust. They're usually the ones who I personally feel like, in my opinion, it's always the ones who tell the off-color jokes, who go a little differently than everyone else, who, I just feel like those are the ones who you can trust. But the people who are just so strictly stuck to their party lines, those are the ones I don't want to associate with, because if you're so stuck to what your party believes, it really makes you wonder if they have any individualism in them whatsoever. It's almost robotic in a sense.
Yeah, and then they're also, you kind of feel like they're gonna backstab you, like the second you take a stance.
Well, yeah, because I remember living in DC, it was all about who.
How long did you live in DC, by the way? This is last year?
This is in 2018. I lived in DC for about 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably around the time
Yeah, that's when we met. Yeah,
okay.
That's when we met, and then I left in December of 2018.
Okay.
But yeah, definitely it was an experience. I mean, even when you're not physically in DC, when you're just online and someone is, if the people who I know, the accounts that I definitely strayed from, for example, the Charlie Kirk types, the people who are, pro-Trump no matter what, pro-Republican no matter what, when the GOP does something, clap, 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 yay, we made butt sex legal in Botswana. Hooray. Like, who cares about that stuff? It's just weird to me, like, who cares about that? The fact that Turning Point USA literally has tables on colleges now, and with like handing out pamphlets to say, I love Israel. It's like, we're not Israel or America. It bothers me a little bit. It does.
Do you feel like you've had like a lot of do you feel like you've had a lot of like toxic relationships that like in that sort of sphere, or it never even got to that? Like you never.
Those are definitely the people who like threw me to the bus the most. I mean, yeah, I would say it's definitely the people who you feel like almost go through like a rinse cycle before they like do anything. Those are the people I don't trust. The people who, have made mistakes are a little different, but
yeah, like the people who are gonna throw you under the bus, and I know what you mean. I've had a lot of those experiences where like people are very, especially in DC, they're very like optics obsessed. So they'll kick you out of an event. They'll like stop talking to you. They'll try to get you fired from your job or whatever, just because they don't want to be associated with you, or they don't want you like ruining their perfect reputation and whatever. And they do it just because they want to look good in front of like the.
Well, it's also because they're paid off by people too. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, I don't want to get too much into Zionism because I'm not sure. You know, I don't really want to get you in trouble with anything. Like, I don't have a problem with Jewish people or anything. I do have a problem though when American citizens prioritize. And this is just an example. Like, if this were any other country, I would use that as an example. Like, if we were like prioritizing Japan or, you know, whatever over American issues, then I'd talk about Japan. But the fact that like people like in Turning Point USA prioritize Israel so much when it comes to American politics, that stuff bothers me.
Yeah, and I mean, as someone who spends a lot of time in Israel myself, like a lot of my family relatives live in Israel. I don't have a problem with Israel either. I do see it as like weird that Israel is such a big topic in the United States when our focus should be the United States. Like, why are we?
No, exactly. Like, why are we giving so much money to Israel? Why are we getting involved with wars in the Middle East that clearly aren't our own? And again, this has nothing to do with the fact that Israel is a Jewish country. It's the fact that we are so involved with a country that's not our own. It makes you curious. And on top of that, why is it we can't talk about it? Why is it we even mention something along the lines that we're called anti-Semitic? That's what bothers me. And this isn't even an issue on the left. This is an issue on the right, on the pro-free speech side, so to claim, right? So if I'm talking about issues that I have being involved with the Middle East, and then I'm called a Nazi for it, I'm called a Nazi for being anti-war, it only makes me more curious to why I can't talk about that.
So 1 second, I just saw an interesting comment.
Mm-hmm.
When Ashton said she gave up dating girls for a reason, it was so sad. So this is totally off topic, but I had no idea that you dated girls. Or was that?
I never dated girls, but like I was on Gavin McInnes's show where he asked about my sexuality, and I basically said I was attracted to girls, but I only date men. So that's not properly worded.
Okay.
And again, a part of me also wonders if that attraction has to do with the fact that I did grow up in a very liberal community in Berkeley public schools. And there are times I do wonder if that was, you know, pushed onto me. So I never acted on it, but what?
Have you ever kissed a girl?
No.
Did you want to?
I mean, yeah, I found girls attractive, but I mean, like, that's the same thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, because there is a difference between I want to kiss a girl and I want to like I guess it's like levels, right? Like how far you're willing to go.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like, well, the thing is, how I see it is that I want to be a mother, and you can't, obviously, two women can't have a child together. That's my personal, you know, belief. That I personally just want to be a mother. So I never saw a point in dating women if I can't marry them. So I obviously just date men. So
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. And you're definitely attracted to men. So I know that.
Oh yes, the internet does know that.
Do you have any man attraction in your life at the moment?
I am currently dating someone who I can't reveal who. I'm keeping that information private, but I am taken.
Nice. What's he like?
Oh no, I'm being
okay. I'm kidding. I will.
He's very nice, and he's a lot like me in many ways. Not just politically, but spiritually. And I don't know. He's got my sense of humor in a way. So
nice.
I vibe with him, I would say.
What do you feel like in general? Like, what do you feel like has been with dating? Because I'm seeing some of the comments. People like Okay, so what do you feel like has been your biggest obstacle with dating in the past? Because
Oh my goodness.
I mean, I know people in the comments, and I know I've seen some really, like, I don't know, like, I'm not friends with these guys, but I've seen some of your exes just be really awful online and make videos about you that I would not want anyone making about me. And I don't care how mean you were to them, like, I can't imagine making that kind of video about someone and putting it online.
How I see ex relationships is that it was definitely, to be fair, these relationships I had in the past was also during a time I probably shouldn't have been dating because I wasn't mentally stable at the time. Like, let's be honest here, I wasn't exactly in a good place 2 years ago, a year ago. But I will say this is that I'm a firm believer that everybody has a certain someone for them, and it wasn't the right person, the right time for them. And I'm also a firm believer that everybody makes mistakes and that everybody grows. And I hope that those people have grown from the person that they were, just as I have grown from the person that I was. And that's just how life is. I don't really have any bad feelings for anyone. I'm in a position where I don't really have negative thoughts about anything anymore. I'm kind of just a believer in, I'm happy with myself now, and I'm growing, and I'm still growing. And if I focus on my own personal growth, and then I'll be good. I mean, I hope that they focus on their own personal growth, and I wish them the best and love and happiness and peace. So this is how it is.
Got Jason Levy says, good Ashton folks, this is girl's hero. So what kind of advice would you give? Like, I experience just like so much pressure all the time from being on social media. And I've like dealt with a lot of the same people that you've dealt with. And I feel myself kind of like, I'm really sensitive to anything someone says about me that's personal. If someone like went out and made a video about me that was like, oh, Pardes is this and this and this and this, I would have a meltdown. And I don't think I'm crazy.
Like I did. I had a meltdown.
Yeah.
First rule is don't have a meltdown. Honestly, I wish someone taught me this before all the crazy stuff and all the, I mean, to be fair, everyone's a little crazy. What really matters is how we control it and how we deal with our own craziness, right? So my whole thing is that what a friend from church of mine actually taught me is that if you ever feel like stressed or anxious about anything, pray about it first. And more importantly, your truth is your truth, and how you see yourself and how you view yourself is still not even incomparable with how God sees you. So all that really matters is the audience of one, and that is God. So it comes first is God, then yourself, and then everyone else is minuscule. How other people see you, their perception of you is none of your business, because at the end of the day, nobody knows you like you do, and God knows you. So really, all it really matters is that people are always going to say things about me, right? People are always going to say, oh, there goes the crazy girl. There goes the girl with the meltdowns. There goes the rats in Venezuela girl, which, you know, we'll get into later. But at the end of the day, people are always going to have something to say about me. People are always going to say horrible things. People are always going to have an opinion, whatever. But all it really matters is how I see myself, how God sees me, and how my future husband sees me. And so the best thing we can do is have peace with ourselves and love ourselves and pray to God. And I mean, at the end of the day, the people who gossip, the people who lie, the people who, you know, feel the need to spread negativity, they just need time with themselves and to focus on themselves and really build their relationship with God. That's all that really matters in life.
Yeah, I hear that. It's really tempting to it's really tempting to get distracted. It's really easy to get distracted because you know that the people who are like trying, like, I just tweeted this, so I'm gonna sound redundant, but like people who are constantly trying to drag you down, if they were strong enough, they would be just lifting themselves up and doing their own thing. But like it's easier to just like defer to somebody else and start bashing what they're doing.
Yeah.
So what kind of videos do you hope to make in the future? Like,
I definitely kind of want to focus just on, I'm not going to do it as like a serious thing. It's not going to be like, I have to make a video now about this, this, and this. I definitely think I took the whole video thing way too seriously in the past.
why not? Like, I mean, if like people underestimate how valuable it is that you have a platform, you can influence people, so many people in a certain way, even without them realizing it, just by them watching your video, you're influencing them in some way. And like getting at least you can get your message out there or whatever it is. Because
here's the thing is that I was just able to recently rebuild my relationship with my family and rebuild my relationship with God. And honestly, my main focus right now is my own family and building a family with my husband and focusing on that. I mean, like the videos thing it's fun to get my opinions out there every once in a while, but I don't see myself putting so much strain on it just because the internet really isn't real. At the end of the day, who cares what I think? Who cares about my opinion? At the end of the day, the people who are listening to me can either say, wow, this girl is right, or they can say, I hate this girl. She's wrong, blah, blah. I'm going to walk away from this. At the end of the day, my opinions are my opinions, right? At the end of the day, what I'm doing with my own life is what I'm doing with my own life. And what people want to do with their own life, what people want to do with their own time, that's their thing. And the best I can do is focus on my relationship and my family and what, that's more important to me than YouTube and the internet, honestly.
Okay. By the way, I was looking online and I saw someone, it was like an IMDb. It was you as a little kid.
And oh no.
You were in a movie. Oh gosh. People in the comments who are being obnoxious, like seriously, I don't cuss, but go away. Like why are you, if whoever's in the comments and is just, there's like, I'm suddenly seeing like a bunch of people in the comments just being really obnoxious. If you have an issue with, if you don't like Ashton,
again, people like will spread allegations and lies and like
if you don't like
all the time. People have nothing better to do with their life, but it's okay. Like again, like I know relationship with God, I know who I am as a person, I know all that stuff. So I really don't.
It's really distracting. I tried to ignore it for like. It's really distracting.
Well, I have the comments covered, so I really don't know.
Okay, good. No, I just like, I only have the comments here because we've got a lot of like huge Ashton fans, and so I want to hear what they have to say because sometimes I want to put it on the screen. But anyway, back to what I was saying. I saw like, so you were a child actress.
Yeah, actually, that was quite an experience in my time. I'm surprised that you found that. A lot of people don't really know that unless I mention it.
So how did you become a child actress? And you should talk about it. It's cool.
I mean, when I was a kid, my mom really wanted me to be an actress. I mean, the whole thing was like, oh, she's a cute blonde, blah, blah. So my mom kind of pushed me into acting as a young age. And like, it really kind of did help with autism and whatnot, honestly. But like her whole thing was with my mom was that she really wanted me to be an actress because she saw Dakota Fanning and she said, oh, my daughter looks just like her. She can be an actress too. So it was really cool. I mean, I got to do a lot of local projects. Thanks. I got to do a lot of, fun projects. I got to do commercials. I got to do student films. I was in a Bollywood film when I was younger. So that was really exciting. But yeah.
Yeah. Can I show them this picture?
Of me as a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, the turtlenecks.
Here. Over here. I don't know how to like zoom it in, but this is Ashton when she was little, and she was in a movie called it was A Heart of Different.
A Heart in Small Shapes, and then I was also in I was also in this one Bollywood film. choices. And then I was also in a film called Taking Aim where I got kidnapped. That was a fun time.
Oh my gosh, you were so cute.
Thank
So
you.
do you feel like that kind of, do you feel like, because people always talk about child stars, like they talk about how like traumatizing it becomes later on in life, because when you're a kid, you don't know what's happening, so you get all this like crazy attention, and some of it, even like if a like tiny bit of it is negative, it just really has an impact on you. So do you feel like that was like, did that make it harder for you to like make a comeback because of that?
It was definitely stressful just because like you can sort of just, how do I explain this? It was definitely stressful for me because I feel like there was constantly expectations for me. I think it definitely pushed me to like rebel, definitely as a kid or as a teenager at least. And I definitely felt like there's a lot of stress on me for sure, especially within the family unit. Like my mom, you know, she got me to be in pageants. I was in, you know, there was just a lot of stuff that happened to me like on and off camera. And I feel like young children really shouldn't have that much attention at all. I mean, honestly, I really liked theater acting more than I did like film acting. I really did. Just because I feel like that was just a better outlet for me. But the film industry in both San Francisco and Los Angeles, I think is, I don't know. I have my own personal beliefs on kids being involved with that kind of stuff. And it's just, I think it's just a lot for a kid. I think kids should be kids, you know?
Yeah, and you don't really have I mean, you do have a choice, but you like, it's not really your choice. Like you're a kid.
Yeah.
Do you like, how did you get involved in like political YouTube making? Because honestly, I could see like you have like a very big personality, and I could see you doing like talking about a whole list of things and making all kinds of videos. How did you like specifically get into like political stuff? And you weren't even particularly like one party to start off with.
So it's really interesting actually. So when I was about 13 or 14 years old, I think maybe I was 13 maybe, I sort of had an addiction to World of Warcraft. And I remember somebody like in the chat, right, posted a link to a YouTube video, and it was Alex Jones. And I remember it was actually funny because Alex Jones back in like 2009, 2010, when I first found him, he wasn't like this like, you know, super Republican guy. He was talking about Occupy Wall Street and police brutality. And so when I was like younger, I was really into, I guess I would say like, I was an ANCAP. I was a little bit of an anarchist. I'm not going to lie. So I definitely really got involved. I remember telling my parents, Mom, Dad, I need to take 2 months out of my freshman year of high school, my first year of high school. I need to fly to New York. You're like, what do you mean you need to fly to New York? You can't go to New York. You're 15 years old. What are you talking about? I need to go occupy Wall Street. I'm going to bring my tent. I'm going to sleep in the streets of New York. And they're like, no, you can't do it. You're 15 years old. And so when I was 18 years old, I just remember getting so much trouble all throughout high school. I mean, I used to cause so many problems for my teachers. I used to just yell at everybody. And it was honestly just me wanting to be a rebel, honestly. And I never realized I would get so intensely into politics later in life. I sort of just wanted a reason to rebel and sort of just, you know, maybe I was just a troublemaker. I don't know. I got sent to the principal's office a couple of times for talking about Snowden in class. I remember when the Sandy Hook shooting happened, someone in class asked, why don't we just ban all the guns? And I got really pissed off about that and wanted to fight someone protected in the name of Alex Jones. But yeah, no, as a kid, I was just basically a troublemaker. I remember once when I was like at graduation, I remember telling my parents that I didn't want to go to my high school graduation because what happened was I had actually graduated like a semester early because I got homeschooled my senior year. And I remember telling my parents, Mom, Dad, I don't want to go to my graduation. I want to go to Amsterdam. I want to go to Amsterdam. I want to go to Bilderberg. I want to go do all this stuff because I was like such a big fan of Alex Jones at the time. I really wanted to just go. I wanted to be Alex Jones as a kid. And I just remember that was my biggest thing. My parents were like, no, you can't use your birthday money to go to Amsterdam alone. You are 18 years old. You had barely left the house. You can't. I'm like, well, I wouldn't have barely left the house. She let me go to New York when I was 15. So I was definitely a troublemaker, like throughout all of my teen years. And then I kind of calmed down in college. And, you know, I just sort of realized that, you know, it was time to get my stuff together. And then one day I was walking across campus and it was on fire, and it sort of re-sparked some interest in, you know, political world, I guess.
Okay, so I want to address something that's happening in the comments because on YouTube and Periscope. So people keep asking about abortions.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this was a rumor started by... Yeah, no, it's not true. It's not true. This is ridiculous. Just to
okay. No, I wanted to ask, so I saw
my personal beliefs on abortion, or what's the question?
I saw this posted on chats of people who were like, obviously for like petty reasons, don't like you, so I wanted to ask you this because now people in our chat. So I wanted to make sure that the record is clear. So you didn't get an abortion, and
no.
The person who started spreading this rumor said it probably for personal reasons.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous, but honestly, it's just annoying.
And I mean, not that I would judge, like, if you got an abortion, it would be your personal business. But it is a big thing to like accuse somebody of getting an abortion if they didn't get an abortion.
Well, it's not just that. It just really kind of, it's funny to me how like I came on here saying, you know, I wish like my ex relationships had like, you know, just, I hope they've like moved on and like live happy lives now. And I know where this is being sent in from. It's just ridiculous.
Okay, so one thing about like relationships, I feel like sometimes,
and this is the thing about I'm not going to get too hard into the whole relationship thing, but it's just like, this is just kind of like why it's just so dumb. It's so dumb.
So, okay. So that's what I wanted to make clear. Like, that's it. There's like a source of rumors, and
well, the problem with rumors in the political sphere, right? You can sort of also decipher who actually cares about what they want to talk about. You know, what people like want to talk about, like want to get done and like live their own lives. It's just it's funny to me how like people can be so petty about something, and I just like, just live your own freaking life. Focus on this stuff.
So one thing, okay. So you're back after
a year and a half.
You took a very healthy break. You took a very healthy
focus on my mental health, focus on my spiritual health, literally got rebaptized. Like, do all these different
you're
things.
In a great place.
And I'm clearly, I'm in a much better place. And there's people from my past, from over a year ago, who I would have thought would have grown up by now. It's just, it's go find a priest.
And the reason why I'm bringing it up is not because I'm trying to like throw the comments in your face. The reason why I'm bringing it up is because I know you see them, and so I know you see them, and like these are.
Well, I do want to point out though, what's really funny to me is what people. Someone did point this out to me actually. Someone texted me this. I'm not going to say who texted me this, but they texted me, you know, Ashton, looking at the comments section, if this were a year or two ago, you would have freaked out. You would have had a meltdown right on camera. You would have been crying. You would have been shaking.
But you're not. You're fine.
I'm fine because I understand who I am. I understand my truth. I understand my relationship with God. I understand what I'm good at. I understand like what my future is. And the thing is, this internet world isn't my life. This internet world isn't what I'm focused on. I'm in a relationship with an amazing person who I deeply care about. I'm focused on bigger and better things like my family, my relationship with God, building a house, raising a farm.
And also, these people don't own the internet. Just because people who are like upset about you like live on the internet, they don't own the internet. So you can still continue being great. And
what their experience right now, their relationship with the internet, their obsession with being on the internet really is no different than when I was having meltdowns, because the internet is the world to these people. The internet is real to these people. These people think the internet is absolutely everything, right? But at the end of the day, if you truly have a relationship with God, if you truly have a relationship with Christ and you are as traditional as you claim you are, you won't be focusing your entire life on the internet. There are bigger and better things to worry about. And on top of that, I'm a firm believer the end times are coming. The apocalypse is coming. I'm a firm believer the second coming of Jesus Christ is on its way. Right now is not the time you're worrying about the internet. Right now is not the time you're worrying about this stuff. Right now is not the time you're worrying about whether you should be wearing a MAGA hat or not. Right now is the time to grab your Bible, learn to shoot a gun, learn to work your land, raise some children, figure out what you're going to do for the next 50 years, because things are going to get messy pretty soon. Learn to weld, learn to do carpentry, learn how to make your own food, because I guarantee you grocery stores will not be the same in the next 5 years. You will not have access to a grocery store in the next 5-10 years, I guarantee you.
How come?
Honestly, I think there's going to be an economic and political collapse. I think things are going to be absolute shit zoo in the next 5 to 10 years.
Also, by the way, I'm like really ignorant about like religions, and I feel like I need to learn more. But so what sect of Christianity would you identify with more?
I am a baptized Catholic.
Okay.
I'm a baptized Catholic. And that does seem to bother a few people. But I am a reborn Catholic as well. So I'm very happy about that.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. So that did happen this past year before everything went hectic. I was officially confirmed right before COVID, actually. So that was really nice.
Oh yeah. So
before the churches closed and Gavin Newsom decided to shut down all of the churches. Oh gosh.
And then what made you decide that you want to go to Georgia? I feel
so I actually have family here. Not family, but family friends who are practically family to me. And it wasn't actually for political reasons. It was just because my relationship with my mother has been rekindled, but I'm just not as close with my mother and my father as I am my friend's family. My best friend's mother basically raised me. And she is the most amazing light of God woman I've ever met in my entire life. Like, she is the person I go to anytime I'm in trouble, anytime I've made a mistake, anytime I need to just really regroup myself. She is the person to go to. So I came here.
Nice. And like that must also help a lot. Like,
yeah, no, and that's the thing too, is that when you're around like-minded people who aren't focused in the internet world, who are focused on Christ and rebuilding yourself and loving yourself, you don't really care about what internet people think. You care about what you're doing and what you're doing to better yourself as a person, your connection to God and your connection mentally and what you're doing. This past year, I've learned to eat a lot better. I've learned to focus on myself spiritually and mentally, how to work out my anxiety, how to work out my depression. It's a lot. It was a lot of work. Trust me, it was a lot of work. I also quit medication. I'm no longer on SSRIs after a year and a half. And honestly, I think that was also a huge contributor to my mental illness. I'm not saying, I'm not a therapist or a doctor, but I'm just going to say this: Big Pharma is poisoning us to make us sicker, to make them rely on them more. Please don't sue me, but Big Pharma's trash.
Yeah, I actually I actually agree with you a lot on the big pharma thing because I don't have like a principled stance on big pharma, but I do I very much distrust like the way that medications are so overprescribed. I also distrust the way that our like psychiatric system is, and the way that people are immediately like given diagnoses.
Mm-hmm.
People are immediately diagnosed as like bipolar, ADHD, depressed, this, that, and it's like if you, Ashton, or somebody else, like anybody, had to experience the same thing that you experienced, they would react the same way that you would. I think if anyone had to experience what I experienced, they would react the way that I would. I don't think that like I'm crazy, and I don't think that a lot of people that are being overprescribed these medications actually need them. I think they need to get out of their situations. Like, and it like, it's, I feel like this whole culture of, oh, well, this person, yeah, like it's their ADHD. They're just, they're just crazy. So just ignore them. I think that's kind of like, it's not productive at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you recognize that there's an issue with your life and you change it and you see an improvement, it's proof that it's not you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think most cases when it comes to psychology, most cases are based on trauma and based on, just past issues. Like, like I publicly have told people that I was abused growing up, and there was a lot of issues in my life in the past. And obviously I went through some seriously traumatic stuff during my time in politics. And I think that definitely caters to it. But I think the majority of people who deal with depression, anxiety, it's from trauma and not chemical imbalances. Because to have a chemical imbalance like that, everyone has a chemical imbalance of some sort. And for the percentage of people who are enough to cause their anxiety and depression, it's very small. The majority of people who deal with anxiety or depression, whatever, PTSD, it's all from trauma. So.
Okay. Okay, so, I mean, is there, like, I'm actually curious about trauma, but I'm not going to ask like too much, but is there any that you want to talk about or that you feel like stood out the most?
Definitely going back to my time in acting as a kid. There was a lot of issues with my mother. She did physically abuse me. I was pushed into bulimia at a very young age. I was sexually assaulted as a teenager, and there was just a lot of situations there where, it really sucks to look on. But I mean, like at the same time, like the best thing we can do as a reaction to trauma, which I wish I learned sooner, was to be more involved with the church, talking to a priest. And the thing is, I remember growing up, my mom, she tried to put me on ADHD medication when I was about 8 years old. And ADHD medication is the equivalent of methamphetamines. And then when I was about 16, 17, they tried putting me on tons of depression, anxiety pills. And I remember my dad being very against it. He did not want me doing all that stuff, but I officially got put on anxiety medication and depression medication at around 18 after I was sexually assaulted. And later on in life, they put me on more medications after something very traumatic happened a couple of years ago when I first got involved in politics, and just made me worse and worse and worse. So when I finally was able to wean off those, and then after that, I was in a relationship where the guy basically told me I had to take more medications, which in his defense, he didn't realize that I didn't realize they were making me worse. But when I finally got back to California and weaned off those medications, I was significantly better. And also I wasn't relying on the medications either. I was relying on my relationship with my priest, going to church, eating better food, exercising, getting outside. A lot of us internet people forget there's an entire world out there and there's sunshine and places to hike. it's funny how COVID's happening, right? And people are supposedly getting sick from COVID, but it's like when you tell people to stay indoors and breathe through a mask, we're barely getting oxygen. You're not getting the proper amount of oxygen you need, and you're not getting vitamin D. What do you think is going to happen? People are going to get sick. It's not because of COVID. It's because we're essentially poisoning ourselves with our own carbon dioxide and not getting enough sunlight and not eating the proper food. I mean, I don't want to hear about this whole health crisis until we can start talking about what we're putting into our bodies food-wise, because the medications, the medicines that we were taking, the food that we are eating are essentially poison. They're essentially rat poison. And so I really don't want to hear from quote unquote health experts about COVID until we can actually start talking about the fact that we're literally poisoning ourselves via big pharma, which Fox News loves to promote. So
yeah, it's funny that you mentioned Fox because I used to work for them. I'm not like the biggest fan.
Yeah. Tucker's cool. We love Tucker.
Yeah, I just feel like they're kind of like, I don't know, like the gatekeepers. Like I feel like they're very they're obsessed with their like public appearance, and they're obsessed with like being the like main conservative outlet that all the people who like in flyover states are watching. But I don't feel like the people at Fox actually respect the people that they're catering to. I think that it's a corporate media outlet, just like all of them, and so they're more focused on ratings and stuff, which I think you should be focused on what your audience likes or whatever, but at the same time, it's dishonest when you don't actually respect them, and you're just doing it because like, you want to be the main, and you want to knock down all the other conservative outlets because they're competing with you. I don't know. I mean, you're gonna like spit in their faces and stuff because you want to be like the. So anyway, that was a long rant about.
Well, speaking of, well, you know, on the matter of fact, speaking of Fox News and COVID, you know, I want to kind of address the Blue Lives Matter people out there, and like I get the whole, you know, there are good cops out there, but something I really woke up to, right? Something I really woke up to is how little the police were involved with the Black Lives Matter riots, and how much they're now being involved with lockdown orders. So it's like, here's the thing, there are good cops out there, but at the end of the day, they're still pawns of a very destructive system that is used to control us. So why is it the police weren't out there, the military wasn't out there when they were literally tearing down statues and burning down buildings and tearing down small businesses? But now if you dare walk outside your house without a mask, you can get a freaking knee on your neck just for trying to breathe properly when you're walking outside, right? Do you see what I'm saying? So it's like, I get like there are good cops out there, but maybe I feel like it's time for the Blue Lives Matter people to start questioning the police system. Because clearly, when we're having people rioting in the streets and burning down mom and pop buildings and beating people up in the street, and there's no cops, you know, doing anything, but then the cops all of a sudden will turn around and handcuff a guy because he doesn't want to wear a mask, or he has a health issue where he can't wear a mask. We need to start questioning that. Like, I get a lot of people out there want to be Blue Lives Matter people. We need to start questioning the system. There are good cops out there, but at the end of the day, it's a paycheck for them. They're part of a system that is meant to control.
Yeah. And like, yeah.
Somebody did comment how many police retired instead of continued to stay as pawns. That's very true. There were a lot of sheriffs in California, hello fellow Californian, who did say, you know, F you to Gavin Newsom, which is great. But at the end of the day, like, whoever is, you know, going to be a police officer, they still have to play in line. So yeah, a lot of people did retire, they did quit. But it's like, at the end of the day, we're still being controlled by a system, a police system, a legal system of control. And, you know, I feel like there's a lot of things that like conservatives don't want to question because it goes against their own optics, but we have to start questioning them. You know what I'm saying?
Would you ever move out of the US? Like if I don't
Poland
know, got really bad. And
Poland.
Really?
Poland.
How come? I hear they're really
Poland or Hungary. Poland or Hungary.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
How come?
I am quite convinced if somebody asks me in the next 10 years, what is the best country to live in? It's going to be Poland or Hungary. Poland or Hungary, I'm going to state the obvious here. There's a reason the crime is lower. That's all I'm going to say. There is a reason the crime is lower. There's a reason things are putting it back up. If you say anywhere else in the world, you know what? I'm a proud Englishman. I'm a proud American. I'm a proud Canadian. You are called a racist. You are called a white nationalist. You go to Poland or Hungary, they are proud to be Polish and Hungarian. They are proud of where they come from. They are proud of their ethnicity. I feel like, look.
That's like really important.
I'm not a white nationalist, right? I'm not an ethno-nationalist, but I will say this. The fact that there is so much hatred where I have to make excuses for the fact that I'm white, and I have to be told, that I'm automatically a horrible person because of the color of my skin. And the most annoying thing I hear from people is, quote unquote, what is white culture? When Europe is the most diverse culture-wise in the entire world, I don't want to hear about that. I don't want to hear that. So, I don't want to dive into this and go on about it, but there is a reason Poland and Hungary has it together. When people are literally getting tax cuts for having children, when people are literally encouraged to continue the nuclear family, when people are literally, happy to be who they are as a nation, because I'm kind of getting sick of being told that I shouldn't be proud to be an American. I'm sick of being told that I'm a bad person because of the color of my skin, right? So if I have to move out of the country, I will go to Poland or Hungary. And that's not because I'm a quote-unquote racist. It's just because I'm tired of being told that I deserve to get shot in the head because I'm a white person.
Yeah, I mean, you need to be, you need a country where people are proud to be part of that country. Otherwise, like, nothing's going to happen. The economy is not going to progress, and you just can't. A country like that is not going to succeed.
I also want to talk about the fact that, like, here's the thing. America was founded on Western European ideology, right? So if you get rid of all the Western European, rid of all the Western European descendants, what do you think is going to happen? If you have a country that is literally founded on God and Western European ideology, and the majority is no longer Western European descendants, what do you think is going to happen? Or at least those who want to be part of Western European ideology, Western ideology, what do you think is going to happen? This isn't me saying that we have to have a white ethno-state. This is me saying that culture is very important, and providing that and preserving that culture is important.
Yeah, you need to have people. You need to have people who want to be here and aren't trying to topple the system, that aren't trying to topple Americanism from the inside.
And look back at the Black Lives Matter protests. We basically let people burn down buildings and destroy small businesses, and not just white small businesses, Black-owned small businesses. Like, there were literally Black Lives Matter protesters burning down Black-owned small businesses. We let them do that because we were afraid of being called a racist.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. I feel like a lot of people don't, like, with Black Lives Matter, I feel like a lot of people don't realize what, like, because they hear Black Lives Matter and they're like, oh yeah, I agree. So they don't realize what the movement is trying to do.
Also, Republicans have got to stop saying, well, to be fair, the looters weren't Black. There were white Antifa people taking advantage. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? Yeah, sure, Antifa didn't show up to these Black Lives Matter riots until like a month in. I didn't see a single white Antifa protester, white Antifa protester walk in until a month in. Because when they were burning down that Target, it wasn't Antifa, okay? We have got to stop. Us Republicans have got, I mean, I'm not Republican myself, but the GOP types, okay, the GOP types have got to stop saying, oh, well, it was the white Antifa. You calling Antifa white doesn't make you sound like the GOP types have got to stop being afraid of being called racist. They are pandering just as much as Democrats, and it's really freaking annoying. But at the same time, the Democrats and Republicans are the exact same party, paid off by the exact same corporations, paid off by the exact same lobbyists, the same warmongers, the same federal banking system. It's all the same. It's all the same, which goes back to my video that I'm publishing tomorrow. When you walk into a voting booth, you are voting for the exact same party, paid off by the same BS, and that's why nothing changes.
Yeah, I agree. And it just makes their point less interesting. I don't know about the, like, I don't remember the Antifa stuff, like when it actually started, but I agree with you. I see it so often. I feel like that whenever people say white Antifa, they're just doing it because they don't want to sound racist. And it's like, dude, just say what happened. Oh, there was a black guy, there was this guy, just say what happened. Don't like virtue signal. It's annoying. And
that's the thing is that we've gone through, like, remember when BLM first became a huge issue, right? And that's kind of like what triggered a lot of people to jump on the Trump train, right? At the beginning, like 2015, right? But now it's almost like Trump himself doesn't want to say BLM. It's like Antifa is being like used as like a mask for everything. It's like, oh, we can't blame somebody that's of color. It was Antifa. It was Antifa the entire time. It was Antifa, you guys. It was white Antifa, specifically white. Like, why do we have to put white in front of Antifa? Antifa is Antifa.
It's because the people on this campaign are all DC people. They don't realize that no matter how DC-ish they try to sound, like Democrats hate them. Everybody who's not Trumpy hates them anyway. So like, I don't know who they're trying to impress, but they definitely alienate their base that way.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm excited for your video tomorrow. If you guys are on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, go over to YouTube. In the YouTube description, I have a link to Ashton's YouTube channel,
which has no videos on it.
Jim Anderson, by the way, thank you so much for a super chat. Thank you. And sorry, Joe Anderson. I don't know why I said Jim. I was looking at Jim Kirk's name. Joe. And thank you, Jason. Go and check out Ashton's channel.
There's no videos on it right now, which I apologize. I basically was like, I can't handle people commenting where I am. Why did you leave? So I just basically hid all my videos because I was kind of like, I need a break from this. I need a break. I need a mental health break.
Would you ever create like a nature channel? Just like a channel that's, have you ever watched, I mean, this is like totally different, but have you ever watched Jonna Genton?
Watched who?
Jonna Genton.
Who is that?
I'm saying her name wrong, but I know people in the chat know who I'm talking about. She's like a Swedish YouTuber, and she makes a lot of nature videos. She's an artist, like she paints, and like her thing is she's trying to sell her art, but her YouTube videos are all like her doing things in nature. So she's like, I don't know, building something in nature, or going, like taking a bath, like an ice bath in the snow, or it's all like nature stuff. And I could totally see you rocking like just like a separate channel.
Go on, Elite. Honestly, my thing on Instagram is Instagram's down right now because I needed a break from that because there was just some drama, stupid dating drama I didn't want to deal with for a little bit. But like people like love it. They love seeing my goat on a leash because he walks around like a dog. He thinks he's a dog, so people like love that. Yeah, I mean, like I've been on Instagram this entire time, honestly, but like it's pretty interesting to me, like how people are like. I even asked people on my Instagram if they'd be open to like me making non-political stuff, which is kind of like what I want to do as well on the same channel. And people are open to it. People are like, yeah, I want to see you weld. I want to see you do carpentry. I want to see you like teach me how to sew something, because 2020 was like my year. Like I was like, okay, I have to become more I have to become more independent. So I learned how to sew. I learned how to weld. I learned how to work with wood, all that stuff. So it's definitely been a really productive year for me.
That would be really cool. I enjoy those.
I've honestly thought about doing commentary like while like baking something or like making like dinner or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be really cool. You don't even have you can talk about whatever you want. Those like it's kind of like the it's kind of got like sort of like a trad vibe to it. And you're like you're kind of you even if you don't like you're kind of sending a message of like be out in nature, connect with your roots.
Well, it's funny. It's funny because like I sort of made like a personal goal of mine for my new YouTube channel. I know it's gonna piss a lot of people off, but no cleavage. That's my new rule. So like it's funny, like people don't know this, but like even like when I had like my cleavage out for the world during my commentary, the majority of my closet is like turtlenecks. The majority of my closet is like turtlenecks and sweaters. Like I actually don't like myself with cleavage popping out because I think it makes me kind of look chubby. I actually prefer turtlenecks. It was actually I didn't really start showing cleavage in my videos until somebody suggested it to me. But my favorite thing in the world is turtleneck sweaters. So I just told myself, you know what? If I'm truly gonna be myself in my future videos, I'm bringing out my Steve Jobs turtlenecks. So.
Nice. Okay, so I realize it's almost 9:30.
Oh, sorry.
And this was a lot of fun. If you'd be down for it, I would love to have you back on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, it's been like a bit of a day. I've just been doing some cleaning, and I made an anarchist gingerbread house, which I don't know if I sent you the photos of that yet, but like here, I'll send you the photos now if you want to like see it. Hold on.
Oh yeah, is it? You said it was
It's my libertarian gingerbread house.
Oh, cool. Maybe I could even put it on the screen.
Hold on. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. And I tried writing come back print on the back, but it didn't work. So hold on. Is this? Did you get it?
Okay. I just got it. 1 second. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. So, already, you're gonna see my screen because I'm a boomer and I don't know how to like. So, this is so cute. I love it.
And that little guy, he's got like a little like AK on him.
This looks like so much fun.
That's a dead federal agent, or like, well, I don't know, like an FBI agent. I just wrote Fed because I figure Fed can represent the Federal Reserve, the FBI, the CIA, an auditor if you want. So
much fun. I love it. Oh my gosh.
I tried writing on the back, come back with a warrant, but like I'm really crappy with icing. So
this is so much fun.
And you can see his head's cut off.
This is so funny. You're gonna post this on Instagram. You definitely should.
I was like, wow, these like gingerbreads are really creepy looking. They kind of have like dead eyes, and I was like, what if I just like took the head off one and made it a zombie? Or better yet, what if I made it an ex-federal agent and like one guy like shot him because he didn't come back with a warrant?
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. If you have another one, by the way, I think you might have used the same one that I just bought. It's from
Walmart, right? Did you get a Walmart? Oh my god, yeah, this is the one!
If you want, you can get another one and we can make it together on a live stream.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, you should. Let me know if you...
By the way, if anyone wants to know, they're $8 at Walmart.
Yup.
A fun time for everyone.
$8.
We should you know what people should do? We should make a challenge where everyone should get like a gingerbread kit and like basically make it like their own little like anarchist commune, like gingerbread house. And like, so people have to like write "Don't Tread on Me" on some of them. Like, just do whatever you want with your gingerbread house, and like send them in, like basically comment them under the stream on Pardes Twitter, and then we can just compare everyone's like anarchist gingerbread houses.
That's a really awesome idea.
I love that. So if anyone who's watching this, they should make a little gingerbread house.
And so should we all do it at the same time? Like we'll all make ours while we're talking, and then
people can just comment theirs in the comment section.
Yeah. And then we can we can announce which one we like the best. Hee hee.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love it. I don't know. I was really proud of my gingerbread house.
That's a really good idea. I think yours is the cutest. Like, definitely better.
I had to like take the cardboard like thing from the box and I cut out a little AK-47 and I had the icing on his hand. I didn't really know how to make an AK so I had to like just make it out of cardboard and like stick it on him. And it's like, look how happy he is because he killed a federal agent. He killed the FBI. He splintered the CIA into 1,000 pieces.
That's so cute. This is this is a really fun idea.
R.I.P. JFK.
Okay, and wait, so does the winner get any prizes? The winner gets a big fat shout out.
A big fat shout out.
Or we'll tweet and retweet.
If someone can like somehow make a gingerbread Gadsden flag, that definitely would be amazing.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's plan for this. You said you're gonna be back on Twitter, right?
No, I don't think I can be.
Oh, right. Okay. So I saw someone an account called AshtonBirdie fan or AshtonBirdie fan.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they just basically post old. That's not me though. They just post old photos of me, I guess.
Okay.
My friend Nash, he like makes a lot of memes of me. He's super cool. If you guys want to check him out, he makes fun of me all the time, but he's honestly super funny. But yeah, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I kind of just like if I ever like want to see a specific person, like what they're posting, I just search them and like see what they're posting, you know? But yeah, no, being off Twitter's been actually pretty amazing. I kind of just been focusing on myself and my happiness and, you know.
Good. And we can, I mean, we'll market it on other platforms and stuff, but
I do have Parlor, but I'm never on it because
it's hard to use.
It's not just that. I just don't really see any importance in being on the internet anymore. I mean, I really just don't. I don't really. I'm not like a, you know. Me coming back to YouTube is basically just me saying, hey, you know what? I'm good at editing. I like to yell at a camera occasionally. I'm here as a hobby. But my priority is going to be my children, my husband, my goats. You know. Like, honestly, like, what you'll probably be getting out of me is, like, a video once a month, maybe. I mean, I'm focusing on God and my family. So I know it's, like, not what a lot of people want from me. I know a lot of people, like, want me to come. And that's the thing is, I wanted to wait till after the election because a lot of people, like, wanted my opinions. And it's like, y'all don't seem to have figured out that I really don't like Trump as much as I used to. I mean, I don't dislike Trump. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Where's Assange? Where's Assange? That's all I'm saying.
Thank you so much for coming, and we'll definitely do this again. And next time we're gonna do the gingerbread house. You guys watching, go get one of these. It's $8 at Walmart. It's a gingerbread house, and I'll tweet about it or post about it on my Instagram story or wherever, just so you know. And we'll plan for it, and we'll have like a whole we're gonna talk while we're making the gingerbread houses, and then we're gonna like see which ones we like, or we'll just make fun of yours if yours is a mess. But
honestly, the messiest ones are the best ones because then you can eat it. You don't feel bad about eating it.
Yeah,
so you mess up on it, and then it's so delicious. Because like if you make a really pretty one, it's like, well, I don't want to eat this now because it's too pretty. And then if it's a mess, it's like nom 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 nom. So, you know.
It'll be fun either way.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
Of course, you're welcome. I hope that was wonderful. Bye.
Bye, and check out Ashton's YouTube channel in the descriptions, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Bye.